What up? What up? What up? What it do? What it is?
What it is, what it does, big man. Are you alive and kicking?
Yeah. I'm alive. Can't complain. Just a very, very hectic week, to be honest. Very, very hectic week.
Yeah, I know you. You've been saying Kalagu loudspeaker.
Yeah, I know. It's just when you got a lot that you're doing, sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and the pod is the first one to shack because it's free. Everything else pays me money or gives me hugs. So it's an easy choice.
If you put that up to the people to say that all it takes is hugs to get the podcast going every week, you'll find yourself in a very tricky situation, Mr.
Listen,
Maps,
if
where
someone is
someone
literally
will
willing
very
to
easily
fly
say,
to Dubai for
"I'll
a
give you a
hug,
hug."
that's mad. That's actually quite mad. Rather send the money you'd have used for the flight. But yeah, no, we need to set up something. We need to start making people pay, bro. There's no way this shit should be free, bro. There's no way this shit should be free. I think about it sometimes, like, nah. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. And it's funny because I'm listening to Feeling Station, and every week he's shouting out people that get him coffee. So I'm like, you know what? We need to set that up. Anyway, we'll talk about that off air to put that forward. Guys, welcome back. It is another episode of 6 Foot Weights, your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. My name is Tabo.
My name is Seda.
We're back again to do the damn things. We missed last week, unfortunately, but yeah, there's a whole lot of shit we need to get into with very little time, so we'll try and keep things moving as efficiently as possible. But some things we're just gonna get emotional. We need to discuss this week's action in the league, in the Prem. I thought, with Sakala Sbaning, but Kalagiwan. So it's just, yeah. I think, do you want to go straight? Actually, yeah, we were off the air. We were talking about rugby. I asked Senna about why he hasn't gone, because again, I've never seen him post from within the stadium, but I've got a lot of friends who, on the box play, the big games, I see them. Yeah. They go to the games. It looks like it's a good time. So I asked Senna, I'm like, Senna, why do you? Yeah. How come you've never gone to? First, I was like, have you ever gone to a game? He's like, nah. So I was like, okay, why, Mr. Moy? Can you tell the people what your justification is for not going to box games?
So I first of all, I like watching the Springboks play. Rugby is not exactly my number one sport, so Tabo knows this. I'm sure you guys know this from listening to the pod all the time. In terms of sports that I actually enjoy, it's football and cricket right at the top. So it's football first and then cricket, and probably Formula One, then rugby. Right? Okay. So it's not right at the top, but I do enjoy watching like the big matches. So when the Springboks play New Zealand, or when the Springboks play Australia, like I'll be watching the Australia game live, right? And when it's the World Cup final, when it's the big clashes, I'll watch that ish. But I've never gone to a rugby stadium to watch the games for several reasons. So I was telling Maps off air. The first one was when I first moved to South Africa around 2013 for university. When I first permanently moved to South Africa. And I was just talking to my uncle, and then he's like, estate right? Those were his exact words.
What does that mean for the non-Debeles for building?
Yeah, so for the non-Guni speakers, it basically means that the Afrikaans people will be spitting on you during the whole game. Of which, to be honest,
that's a lot of saliva.
It's probably that is a lot of saliva, but it's probably not as, how can I put it? It's not as frequent now. I don't think it happens as much now as it probably did when he first moved to SA, where black people attending Springbok matches would get racially abused. So I'm sure he's also coming at it from like hey bruh, back in the day, you'd go to Ellis Park or Loftus or Cape Town Stadium, and then all the white people would be racially abusing you the whole game. So that's number one. So I've just always had that little thing in the back of my head. It might not be the most pleasant experience, but as you said, Mr. Maps, we have like mutual connections and friends that we know. Like I know a couple of guys went to the last game that was in thingy in Bombela, and the one that was in Cape Town, and even the one that was at Loftus a few weeks back. I know a lot of people who went to watch those Springbok matches.
Which one is Mbombela?
The one in Mpumalanga.
Ah, okay.
In Nelspruit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where South Africa played New Zealand the first game.
Oh, the one they won.
Yes, the one they won.
Okay.
The one they won.
Okay.
The other reason why I actually don't go to rugby matches is because the tickets are incredibly overpriced.
Malin.
It's actually insane. So just to give you a bit of info, I think the ones here in Cape Town, initially they weren't available to the public, right? So initially they were like a lottery system. So you actually it was like you registered. So because of COVID restrictions, they couldn't get like full capacity. There had to be like a set number of people.
Okay.
So you'd register and like sign up and everything, then pay for the tickets, and then if you were lucky to be selected, then you would get a ticket.
Wow. So if they don't, they give you back your money.
Yeah, that's basically how it worked. So if you don't, then you get like a refund.
Wow. That's a lot of admin.
Yeah, it's a lot of admin. And on top of that, right, I think a single ticket, I think they were probably starting from like 500 Rand. And then by the time they became available to the public, so now you could like buy a ticket yourself. This was a week before the Wales game. This is Wales, right? South Africa versus Wales. They were now going for 800 Rand, the cheapest ones.
For what? For the nosebleeds?
I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
That's just 800 bucks. And I was like, yeah, I don't like rugby that much.
So what about for like the lower like closer to the pitch?
Oh, those are like VIP. Those are like that's like big monies, bruh.
What's big money?
Oh, you're looking at well close to 2,000 for those, probably. Or you're looking at over 1,000, definitely. Maybe over 1.5, and then once you get closer to the date, you're looking at close to 2,000 Rand for those tickets.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I know it's a span. You need to be a fan.
But it varies, right? So
to
you
spend
need to
that
be a
much
fan.
that much money.
You need to get them.
I'd spend that in
of
a
course.
heartbeat easily for
Of
the
course.
NBA for good seats. But yeah, that's because I love the NBA. I love football, so I'd do that for football. For rugby, it would need to be a big game. I'm not just gonna pay $2,000 to watch the Storm.
Yeah, so that's why. But no, but that's the funny thing is the Stormers and Bulls tickets aren't that expensive. But then I'm not going to go watch, the standard sort of local franchise matches where it's the Cheetahs versus the Lions. It's unlikely that I'll watch those because I probably don't have much of an interest.
Yeah.
It's the big games that I want to go to the stadium and watch. And coincidentally, those are the ones that are like super expensive. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just go watch it at like a bar or like a pub. That's a vibe. On top of that, right? So let's say I get 2 tickets. So 800 for me and someone else, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking at 1.6. Askati drinks, askati hudla, askati transport.
Buy a jersey, matching jerseys. It's like it's long.
Bro.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because you have to get the whole experience, right? You can't just go and then you just sit there.
Nah, it looked like a lit
anything,
experience. I wouldn't lie. So some of the shots from within the stadium, I was like, I would definitely pull up. It looked like a really, really good. And like for me, having watched, so Chelsea came for the Club World Cup last year, or maybe it was earlier this year, and that was fun as fuck. And and this is just Club World Cup. This wasn't even. This is a random game in the UAE. Imagine being at Stamford Bridge and we're playing, Spurs. That would be insane. That's what I compare it to. If it's like All Blacks versus Springboks, the atmosphere is crazy. Whether you're in New Zealand or in SA,
especially if the Boks are winning at home.
Yeah, exactly. For the home supporters, I still haven't had that experience yet. in terms of a big game. I've seen even in the NBA, the games that I've been to have been like, the home team versus an okay team. It hasn't been like an intense playoff game. So I can't wait to have my first experience in any sport that I'm interested in. Well, actually,
of like a proper game.
I take that back. I was at that race last year, Formula One in Abu Dhabi. So that was...
Oh, yeah, the F1.
Yeah,
the final.
Yeah, so that was
It's
crazy.
just that the result wasn't nice, so then they blocked it from your memory.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's a very traumatic, honestly, a traumatic experience. Senna, this shit happened in front of me. Verstappen took the lead in front of... It was... Bro, and what's crazy is that he had so much... I remember telling you this. He had so much Dutch support. Like, all the stands were yellow. Orange rather. All the stands, orange, dude. The orange tees, orange caps, everywhere, right? And it was like the Dutch support pool. And the thing is, the Netherlands is so small. I'm like, it's like it's tiny ass country.
No, so a lot of them probably aren't even Dutch.
You scheme? No.
There's a lot of them probably aren't. No.
It was a lot of Makiwas.
What I've realized,
it was a lot of Makiwas.
Dude,
no
Verstappen is very popular amongst white people. Like, if I don't put it past people who aren't necessarily Dutch to buy orange merch and just go.
Okay.
And to support him.
Fair enough. Because, there were a lot of people also wearing Petronas t-shirts. So maybe, people just bought orange. But, I mean, I feel like you'd just buy Red Bull merch, though, right? If you were just a random white guy who likes Verstappen, I think you just buy Red Bull merch over an orange t-shirt.
But think about the number of guys who support the All Blacks in South Africa and they wear the black jerseys.
Yeah, you compare it. They buy the jerseys. So which is what I'm saying. If you're just a fan, you buy the jerseys. But like, if imagine
it becomes
for.
I've just always felt it awkward supporting. It's weird though, right? Supporting a country as a team.
Mm-hmm. As in a country that you're not from.
So it's like, yeah, right? So, for example, the New Zealand South Africa thing is hilarious, right? So, for those who don't know, the South African Rugby Union is reluctant to host New Zealand in Cape Town in particular.
Why?
Because a lot of coloured people support the All Blacks.
Really?
So it's not a good look when you have a home game and then you potentially have it 50-50 support. Yeah, because people don't get apartheid like that. So there's a whole study that's been done about how literally if you look at the number of games played between South Africa and New Zealand in Cape Town, I can literally count them on one hand. I don't think it's more than 5 over the last 10 years.
I was wondering because I was like, that stadium is a great stadium. So you'd want to host everything there.
No, they'll host every other team, right? They'll host England, they'll host the British and Irish Lions, they'll host Wales, Australia, whoever.
But not the All Blacks.
But they're reluctant to have the All Blacks come to Cape Town. It's just a whole thing that during apartheid, coloured people didn't F with the Springboks, they supported the All Blacks, and so now it's like, ish, guys.
Buffaloes can hold a grudge, huh? It's like to this day. Segadine. I respect that though.
But there's a whole article about it. So it's but I've always found it weird, right? So if South Africa is playing, right? So I'm not South African. But then it's like if they're playing Zimbabwe, I have to support Zim because that's where I'm from. So if you grow, and I only support the Springboks and the Proteas because it's like the African team that's doing the things out there. Also, like I live in South Africa. Yeah, it's the best we got, right? Close to home. Also, you live in South Africa. When the country's doing well, things are peaceful. They don't get angry at us and blame us for so we must be careful. But I've always found it weird, right? So the guys who support New Zealand and they're from Zim or from SA, I'm always like, how? Or do you just disassociate the country and the nationality and the whole patriotism thing from it, and then you say, I'm just gonna go with the team that I like?
I think it's about the players. I think about it in a football context. I support England in the England football team. I support the German national team. I support which other team did I like? I liked Spain for a bit. I really liked the Netherlands for a bit. So like, again, because I have no real national loyalty, I literally have like 5 or 6 teams. Oh yeah, Belgium. I stand for Belgium. So it's just one of those things where it's weird when people get emotional about it, and I'm just like, nigga, you're not even from England. Yeah, I'm like, bruh, you're doing a lot, right? It's okay like, to have a favorite team and be like, oh, I really like it, because again, Belgium at a point where that golden generation, it had superstar on superstar on superstar. So in that sense, it's like, okay, cool, but like it really, for me, it just goes by which team has my favorite players, and then if you have enough of my favorite players, I'm gonna want you guys to do well. That's France as well, and there's another team that I support. So it's like, for me, because I'm not French, I'm not German, I'm not whatever, I'll support all these teams and it doesn't really bug me. But I'd never be like, you know what, I like Arsenal, I like Spurs, I like United. Nah. But I mean, there will be certain games where if Chelsea's not involved and Arsenal's playing Liverpool, I will have a team that I'm supporting. Even though for me, I just want an entertaining game. So like, if Liverpool scores a fantastic goal, like Izolo, Liverpool's playing United, that goal by Sancho was fire. I stand. I was like, hey, like this is heat, and it was a good game. So for me, hey brother, if I'm, hey, well, I just remember, bro, yeah, grown ass man. So it was long. Van Disney was frozen. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, before we get into football, Mr. Moore, let's get into the stuff that we have on the schedule. I'll come back. I have a Chelsea rant, so we'll see how much time we have at the end, because I'm really emotional with my team again. And again, all I have to say is what in. Okay. Anyway, let me just leave it, because I'll I'll get pissed. But anyway, so the first thing I'm trying to think now. I should have looked for this in the chat. But anyway, so one of my boys, he put out a tweet. Oh yes, actually, I think might have sent it to my wife, so it might be easier to find it there. So one of my boys put out a tweet, right? And then in this tweet, he was basically alluding to, okay, anyway, I can't find it. So he was alluding to, how like if you have a girl over, right, and you guys do the things overnight. Sometimes she might stay over, other times she might leave immediately, other times, like there's that whole thing about Hans overstaying their welcome, when or not wanting to at least overstay their welcome innately, right? So those are some of the things that have been conversations for quite a while. So my boy put out this tweet where he was alluding to this, and he basically says, "Witukona, why is it Hans wanna leave at like 7 a.m? He was like, relax, checkout is at 11." But for me, I found it to be very, very interesting, because the irony is that someone else posted it in our group chat, and it was like, nah, she got to go ASAP. And again, in a casual situation, I 100% agree. Like, what are you still doing at the crib after, like, if you're good, I'm good, like, both parties are satisfied, go home, though. Like, why are you still here? This is not a bed and breakfast, right? So another one of my friends said, she only gets one B in B&B from me. That's the bit. So at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? For me, it made sense. I'm like, bro, if we're good, you're good, I'm happy, and all that, like, sharp. Let's leave it. We move on, and then But anyway, there were split opinions. And I just wanted to get your take on it, Mr. Moy. Do you think that the lady needs to be can stay as long as she wants, like, kind of like, oh yeah, leave when you want to leave, or are you right even after the things, assuming it's a safe country, right? Not SA, safe, like the UAE, for example, safe as can be. You can walk at 3 a.m, no one's gonna disturb you, right? Are you a 3 a.m Puma, or are you okay, cool, you can sleep, but like 7 XNE when we're up, you need to disappear, or are you, listen, if you want to stay, make some breakfast, I'll make you breakfast, and then you leave later on. Like, what kind of gent are you, Mr. Boy?
Leave when you feel like it. Like, I don't know,
I'll coach.
No.
Again,
Also,
the context is someone that you are not.
How do you people even do that?
You're not romantic. I'm gonna add some context. You are not romantically attached to this person. This is purely a physical attraction on both sides. Well, at least on your side as the guy.
Yeah. I hear all that, and we're on the same page. Trust me. It just feels rude to clutch your montu, bro. It's like, why? Why are you saying hamba? Like, just like.
But you don't have to. You don't have. And again, ladies, this is some free game right now. Most guys will not ocha you, right? Like, hey, get out, right? Most guys are not, but there's tact, right? We want to get rid of you, but we're not going to do it in a disrespectful way.
Yeah. Okay. So let me put it this way, right? So if it's someone whose company you enjoy and it's like super chilled, and you might just want them to stay, have breakfast, maybe even go grab lunch later. Sharp, you can be like, hey, my guy,
See, now that sounds like a relationship, dog. Why am I relationshiping?
No. Stay. Like, if it's, like I said, if it's this company that you enjoy, the person's good vibes, good energy, whatever, right? But if I'm like, hey, yeah, well, low after this, then there's little things you do, like, hey, listen, I gotta go to the gym, so
yeah,
or
no, I've had a few instances where I had to, Senna, can you call me, bro? Tell me in emergency. Like, make up some shit, or even from the night before us go to sleep with, listen, I've got an errand to run early in the morning, so really we wake up and we dip. If she's smart, she's one of those, oh yeah, sure, really, she'll even wake up before you jump out.
She'll even tip out and just say,
like, just leave quickly. But then there's others who don't grab the hint, who want to leave at the same time as you, and it's like, now I have to pretend I had somewhere to be. Imagine getting more day.
No, you actually have to shower and get up.
Bruh, you have to shower, get into the car to drive to town and like, literally like go to Hay for something, get a donut, and then go back home. Like, it's just some
when the coast is clear.
No. Because there's some people that have just not been able to take a hit. It's like, dog, you need to go, bro. Like, why are you here? Like, it's like there's nothing that we're doing. There's literally nothing that we're doing. So, because I'm a very I'll say this about myself. What I've learned about myself. This is also how I learned my wife was the one, right? Where I was like, no, you, stay in power. You've got it, right? Because me and I want to buy a dagger very quickly. That's just my default setting a lot of the time, right? So if you're an individual, my test every single time to know, is this the one? Is after a certain period, I'm not trying to be around you, fam. Like, I'm trying to just have, it's not even your fault. It's just, I want to have my me time, right? I just want to hang out by myself. I literally just want to watch a movie in bed or on the couch and just not talk to anyone, right? And it was different with my wife. It was like, nah, she was a person that I genuinely wanted around me all the time. So I was like, oh shit, you're different, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas your predecessors, I couldn't wait for them to
I don't
leave,
want
bro.
you to leave.
Couldn't wait. like a person with volume young, bye, yeah. And I was like, whoo.
The sigh of relief.
Yeah, like, we thank God. Finally, like, it's that type of people. It's like, damn, like, it's so weird because, like, obviously beforehand when you're with the person, everything's cool, but it's like you wake up in the morning, I'd wake up a different person, dog. Like, check now, like, bruh, go home, dog. Go, I'll text you, yeah, sure, go home. But like, with my wife it was like, nah, she had unbelievable staying power, and I was like, alright, nah, you I can't let go of, because I've never experienced it in my life. Yeah, so so I had to make sure we secured it.
Look, I'm not a woman, right? And I can't honestly speak to I can't honestly speak to why they would like to stay. So obviously I saw the tweet as well from the Yab, and he was like, hey chief, check out 11, why 7 are getting ready to go, right?
Yeah.
So there could be several reasons why she might want to leave soon. She also, one, might have stuff to do.
True.
Two, might not have been satisfied and like, hey, lapha angisafuni.
Like, don't you have other hosts? Like, don't you have other hosts to see, like, dog? Like, come on, you know? Like, hey, come on.
Okay, can't wait. Obviously, someone who wakes up at 5 to leave. Obviously, that's like still too dark. It's a bit unsafe. It also doesn't come across okay. Like, chief. Like, what if something happens to you? Then I'm responsible. Yeah, well, but you had this is someone who lives at 7 has waited for the sun to come out.
Yeah, no. You know, soon as Senna, you've just reminded me. Like, when I would play away matches, that was me, bro. Like, literally, it's as if I knew when the sun was coming up, and like in the cuddle position, and you're just there, like thinking to yourself in your mind, like, yo, like I just wanna go home. I
cannot wait for
it's like it's literally what
when
like
I'm coming up.
like yo, please free my hand, dog. It's a jelly type of thing. I can't wait to leave. Like, it's like as soon as I'm out, I plug in. You know, that back then, you know, there were no AirPods, so you just plug in your earphones and you listen to your music, and you go back to campus or whatever it is, and it's just like, okay, finally, like my life can now continue. Like, so both ways, home and away matches. For me, it was really about, hey, listen, bro, we do what we need to do. After that, like, if we genuinely aren't like trying to date or anything like that, why are you here, dog? Why? Like that is something that, please, listeners at us, let us know. Why do you overstay your welcome? Why? Like that's some hope type
Can I answer
energy,
that
bro.
for them?
Okay, go ahead.
True, it might be, but then maybe one, they're enjoying the company, so it's like, there's no rush. If you're not rushing anywhere, then why am I rushing somewhere, right? So let's say it's something that happened, let's say Friday to Saturday, right? Maybe you mentioned that you don't have plans on that day. You're probably nursing hangovers. It's like, what's the reason? Like, I've got no reason to leave. Also, sometimes sometimes if it was fun times, you just hope maybe if I stick around, the fun times can continue.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, if it's that type of relationship, there's the relationships where we just go at it, bro. You're here, you can literally, there've been situations where, like, no, with certain people, you're here the whole day because we're going at it, right? It's rounds and rounds and rounds, right? That's a different situation. What do you mean, yo?
I'm just saying, whole day. Like,
the whole day? Sana, you've never had one of them situations, bro?
No, I'm just.
First of all, stop lying. I know you have. So get the fuck out of here, bro. I know you've been in that situation. So it's not even.
Okay,
it's been that. Come on.
What I'm trying to say is,
in the morning, you clear a couple, you watch a movie
with someone that you're not like intending to get to a dating situation with, and you just do like the whole weekend. And then afterwards, bye-bye.
Whole weekend?
Or let's say like the whole Saturday. Let's say a whole Saturday.
Nah. I was very strategic about things. Like, you get the invite where I know there's an avenue to get rid of you, right? Or I'm like, no, I'll come to you because then I can leave anytime. Like, it's much easier to remove myself from the situation than to ask someone to leave. Because I don't want to be mean to anybody. I don't want to be mean to anybody. But, like, also, it would be awkward if certain individuals listening to this are like, so this nigga used to disappear. Yo, listen.
One day,
is what it is.
One day I'll tell a story. One day I'll tell a story about how I was coaching 7XN. I was not coaching.
What coaching him?
No, I wasn't. No. What had happened here? So before me and my person started officializing our thing, it just so happened, which I think it was going into a weekday. So it's one of those, the next day is a working day.
Yeah.
So work alarm goes off. I start work at 9, by the way. So
Yeah.
I think she started at like 8. So alarm had to call it. Chief. So my thing. So I was always very, I was very sluggish and like wake up. You check. I wouldn't be in a rush to get out because I don't start work till 9. So I'm jahang.
Yeah.
I'll just get in my car and then leave when I do leave. Check my phone. Blah blah blah. Okay, the time is whatever. And then chill and then leave when I feel like it. I think for that day what to achieve. Shine
baba. Nah, sometimes no.
But
even
obviously that was the exception. The exception that time was it was a work day. What was funny was that very same weekend, said person visited me. Monday extend from Friday. It was a Saturday. But it just shows these things get dependent on umuntu and the circumstances.
You don't want imagine your whole weekend, dog. Because again, if the context of this whole conversation is, it's you're not chasing a relationship,
non-exclusive.
Right? So even if it's non-exclusive, that's even better too. The better way to describe it. And it's like, there's no way my whole weekend can go to you, dog. Like, nah. Because even if we're hitting long rounds, we're talking 30 minutes to an hour, right? And then maybe so all of this is 2-3 hours, couple rounds in between. Cool, right? 2-3 hours, and we're talking about a whole weekend. So that's 48 hours, more than 48 hours, really. So, no. We can't.
So
no.
It could be. Well, it could be one, and I think women can act very weird with these things, so they can want to expressly state what they don't want anything beyond this. So maybe that's why that homegirl left 7 extending and Kochiwe. There's also that feeling no one ever also wants to overstay their welcome, right? So you don't want to ever. Have you
been hit with those texts? You made me feel like it was transactional.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yo,
In
how
my
many
life,
niggas have been hit with that, bro? Just to add us.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
It's like,
oh yeah.
For others it's like, okay, fair enough. So that's deserved, sorry. But then for others, I'm like, nah, chief.
So
like
the one thing I'm not particularly great at, and and I've had to learn this with time, was sometimes even when things aren't called out like that, you actually still need to like text someone and be like, oh yeah, you're good, right? So I mean, I just
you need to text someone and say what?
Hey, are you good? You're right. How's your day? Blah blah blah. All those things.
Oh, so you scheme the cheapness comes from they go home and then when you're just type of thing.
Oh yeah, I'd be like sweep though. I'd be like 0. Like, oh, forget that shop and then nothing, right?
Yeah,
because
not
if
even
we're on
like,
the
did
same
you get
page,
home safely type of thing. Text me.
No,
it'd
be like, did you get home safe? Yeah. Like, no, that's like standard. But beyond that, nothing, dog. It's like teen.
But you know what? I feel you, though. Yeah, but like again, see, this is why me and you are boys, because
but that's when
in business there's this thing called synergies.
But that's
you must have synergy,
understanding.
There must be synergies.
But then unfortunately, that's when but you're likely to get those texts in those scenarios where it's like and you don't even say what's up. It's just that. I think that's what happened. To not to Mugai, but I think the girl was just leaving because it's like, right, saying Figelemina, I've got what I need, let me beat it before things get weird and before things get awkward, or before you start calling me a homosexual, because that does happen.
But anyway, guys, please add us, ladies, add us and let us know. Your question is, are you the type to overstay? If so, why do you overstay? Or do you prefer to just dip? Are you a fan of, and it's for everybody, are you a fan of away games or home games? Tell us why. And let's have this discussion, guys, because some of these things we need to address, because away fixtures is the best. Away fixtures is the best. Those are ironically, you have the most control in an away fixture, because home, home fixtures are tricky. Home fixtures are very, very tricky.
And then what are the one? What I wanted to ask you, this is random, it's not related in any way to this, but it also feeds into that whole, have you ever received the text or wuti? I had to tell one of my boys, right, a while back, a couple of weeks back actually, and he said that in casual situations, non-exclusive things, he uses the 4-letter word during the things, like during smashing.
Is in love?
Yeah. Like he will literally just throw it just for fun.
Say what? I love this coochie, or like what we say?
Well, like if the girl says that, I love you, then he'll say it back.
Wait, why is she saying?
I don't know, like how some people get caught up in that moment, blah blah blah.
Nah. No. There's no such thing, bro. There's no such thing in a non-exclusive thing.
Hey, people be saying things, bro, when it's in the moment.
Nah, please. If this is relatable to you, again, add us or DM us, because my God, do you need help? Like, why are you throwing around that word for, bro? Like, guys, like, come on. Like, not all paps need vocals. Like, there's no need. Unless it's role play, obviously, and there's some role play, kinks out there. Cool, but if we're not talking role play, then guys. Why we say I love you, paps?
Also, what
if that's not your person
requires Panama script.
No, vele girlfriend experience. So I don't know.
What the fuck?
Said. Listen, bro.
I'm girlfriend experience.
We need to get like these sex experts on the pod, bro. You
Wait, is that like a thing?
Yeah. I mean, when you role play, it can literally be like, pretend you're my girl, or let's pretend we're married. Let's pretend teacher, student, like all these porn scenarios.
I see.
Like
no. I see the nurse, teacher, student, whatever. That's just weird sort of scenarios, fetishes, role play things that people do. The whole please give me a marriage experience.
Yeah. Could be. Right. Kinks. We should talk about kinks one day. Right? It's a very deep. It's a very deep subject. Also, real quick, I felt like I need to mention this. One of our listeners, his name is Panache Zumunya. He Senna went. Yeah. So Senna was on Twitter talking about what's the plural of Icansi? Is it Amacansi or Cansi?
I think it's Amacansi.
I think it's Amacansi as well.
Amacansi
So anyway,
sounds right.
It sounds proper, I guess. But there's been times when we fucked up in Ndebele, and the Ndebele speakers have been very mad. So apologies if we offend the Ndebele listeners. But yeah, Usena was talking about Amacansi on Twitter about, which was wild. They were selling them shits for 5,000 rand, which is, again, I'm not surprised, to be honest. Yeah, anyway, there's smart people out there. So Usena posts and tags a couple people, says, right, this is a potential business idea. Standard, no worries. Then Mr. Panache quotes that tweet and says 5,000 rand for Ucansi. So me now personally,
that killed me.
I saw that tweet. I saw the tweet, yeah, and I'm like, I was like, no, this is off. Like, I was like, I'm pretty sure Ucansi is another thing. Like, I was like, yeah, no, this nigga's probably wrong. And then I was like, should I correct it? You know what? Losses. And I kept scrolling. Then I saw you, and I was like, yeah, someone probably needed to correct him. Because, again, for anyone who doesn't know, Ucansi is our man-made mat made out of, try again. Is it grass? Is it dried grass?
Yeah, I think we'll say it's dry grass. I think it's
Yeah,
a
let's go with
reed
dry grass.
mat if you're being technical with the English, but it's grass.
Yeah, yeah. So that's your what Icansi is. You go to your rural home, your coco's probably sitting on it. Like, yeah, that's Icansi. And then Ucansi is the dance with no pants. So they're very different, and E and then U make a world of a difference. I don't know why
To
it's
the
like
meaning
that, but
of a
it
word,
is.
bruh.
I think Ucansi is colloquial, right? I think so. Like it's more. It's not necessarily that's the actual translation. Again, I could be wrong,
No, I think it is.
but like
I think
genuinely.
it is. Yeah, like I think it is like
Oh wow.
when like I remember I'd be watching news, back in the days of the HIV sort of pandemic. So I think Ucansi is like the proper word for sex in vernac. So they'd
Or
be
maybe it's
like,
not Ndebele. It's like it's could be like Xhosa, Swati or something like that.
or
Like we've just
Zulu. But I remember
incorporated
that
it.
they'd always say umugula baphethwe isifo socansi when you got like a sexually transmitted thing. That's how
Isifo socansi. Wow.
I don't know why you asked.
No, hey, it's just the way we put some things together. It's like that's very interesting. Like, because my brain wouldn't think to put that together, but it's like, oh, okay, but it kind of does make sense, So, anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh like that, guys. Might be lit, but it is what it is. But anyway, Mr. Panache, we are here to let you know to invest in some Ndebele lessons. Maybe ask your partner to teach you some Ndebele in her spare time. When you plan,
Yeah,
because
you know how
this is
I imagine
unacceptable.
him doing. Like I imagine him going to like a rural Ndebele household, and then he's
Exactly.
this
This-
salukazi and
bro.
said, no, go ngicela nocansi."
bro. Patil Ucansi. It was like, bruh, imagine telling Coco Zala that's it's Ucansi vibes, bro. Like, what? Nah, fam, that's not it. That's about culture.
He needs to fix his life
That's
real
not cool.
quick. I'll be like, aye,
Nah.
mkhwenyana, aye. Yenzayo.
Yeah, no, Mkwenyana will be out in a really violent fashion. It's I don't even know how the relationship would survive at that point. Also, on to the next thing. I was watching Black Panther, so I'm like, I saw this tweet that I resonate with so much. It's like adulting is watching one movie over a span of 7 days, and that's really me. Like I'm watching Black Panther like 20-30 minutes at a time because I'm just doing all this other shit. And then there's one scene that made me laugh. So you remember there's the scene where they went to South Korea, right? So Ulysses Claw is selling off some vibranium. There's a deal. They're all Black Panther, his chick that he's dating, the Lupita's character, and the Zim lady's character, Okoye.
Yeah.
They all go to South Korea, right? So that's I hope you remember that scene. So they're in a casino, and what was hilarious to me is that it's meant to be a covert mission, right? So they want to capture Ulysses Claw because he's stolen some vibranium from Wakanda, and they're trying to be, blend in, not be noticed. And what made me laugh is I did not spot any other black people in that casino.
In that.
And it was like, and again, it made me laugh because there's always that conversation about, oh, you have to make James Bond black. And it's like, but anyone will spot a nigga, bro. Like, it's if you're black, So I'm like, there's these three black people in Black Panther who are like hiding behind the pillar and like trying to move in a slick way. But personally, if I'm one of the ops,
there's no
I'm
other.
like, yo.
Yeah.
I'm literally like,
You're
yo,
the
there's
black
three, nicely dressed black people here. I scheme these guys are not meant to be here. You know what I mean? Like it was literally it's white people and I think a couple Asians were in that scene. I promise you, I did not notice any other black people, and they're sneaking around, and I'm just like, if I apply logic, I'm like, bro, I'd probably look at the other black. You're like, nah, you're black, dog. You stand out.
These are the
If there's
ones.
a lot of black people there. Yeah, so like it literally had me thinking about the James Bond conversation with the, James Bond is Mr. Suave. He goes to the ball, and it's like, he blends in, just a charmer. But then now you throw Idris Elba into that, and I'm like, I think people would realize that that's the spy that we're looking for. Like, but anyway, that was just an observation that I made. I was like, yeah, no, this is not really making any sense.
So with thingy, with the 007 thing, right? What's funny is he's meant to be like a secret spy who always introduces himself as James Bond. Like he's not hiding, right? Like James Bond doesn't hide. Like he's just there as James Bond. Everyone knows him.
Yeah.
And what's funny is the guys he's coming to spy on immediately say, James Bond. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if we already know Utu Mubani, it's like, bruh, it's why are you a spy? Especially like how are you a celebrity spy? That's the part that I don't get. Unless if your cover was celebrity, then okay. But if you're meant to be a spy, but we all know about the legend of Senna, and then you come in like, oh yeah, my name is Moyo, Senna Moyo. It's like, oh, that's you, dog. Like it's like when you meet Ahan Edem Glimp and you tell her your name, and she goes, oh, so you're a Tab. I'm like, oh my god, like no, I'm just not
fair.
What you heard. Say that you've been in those situations, bro. Where it's like, no, please, it's not me, it's not that one. It's not that one.
That's not that one, but
it's not that guy. It's not that guy. Oh yeah, this was hilarious. Did you hear about the Andrew Tate thing? Did you read up on that?
No, I did not. What happened?
Do you know who Andrew Tate is?
Maybe I know him when I see a picture. Hold on.
Yeah. So if you just Google a picture, I'm sure you've seen him. He puts the most toxic content out there, and yeah. So I'm sure you've seen clips. I've never actually I never knew his name, but at least every other week I would see his face or a clip that has gone viral, right? So he's kind of like that other that other black one who died. I forget what his name is, but he was the there's that video where he was asking the dude, Uti, do you have a big dick? And the guy's like, I think so. It's like, nah. Do you have a big dick or nah? Because
yeah. Like you don't have to think so.
Exactly.
Like, so what did you say? Like, do you have money?
So much. Yeah, exactly. So it's like he's like, do you have a job or something? And then he's like, so you got no money and you don't have a big dick, and you're wondering why you can't get girls. Like it's like I was like, damn, what the fuck is this guy? But I forget whatever his name is. But anyway, people were celebrating his death when he died, right? So this Andrew Tate he's one of those type of guys, pushing toxic masculinity, everything that the Twitter hands love to tweet about, or tweet against rather. He's the embodiment of all of that. So I think I'm pretty sure I can find a clip, and I'll play a clip of something that he said. So pretty much the big story about him is that he got banned from Facebook and Instagram, and then now he's been banned from YouTube, or at least his videos have been taken down on YouTube, and he's been banned from what's the other one? TikTok. I think he's still on Twitter. But yeah, so the world's biggest and most relevant social media websites have banned this guy, right? And for me, when in the specific context of him, I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine, right? I don't care, right? So yeah, he's spewing what he's spewing. He's been banned, all right, sharp. But what I don't like is the precedence that it sets. That's what I don't like. Where if we are starting to give these social media companies the power to censor individuals because we don't like what they say. Again, there is a rumor, because again I don't know how true this other part is. Uguti was involved in human trafficking. So if he's banned because of human trafficking and shit like that, okay, sharp. All right, cool. That's completely different. But I'm taking this on the basis of this guy has been chatting a bunch of toxic shit on his podcast and, you know, whatever other media outlets that he has, and people don't like what he has to say. And that's the context that I'm taking it in right now for this particular discussion. And if that's the case, then I think it becomes incredibly difficult, because in this case, I think most people would agree, oh, okay, cool, you got the right guy off the streets. But then we're getting to the edge of a very slippery slope where it's like, okay, who's deciding this? Who is saying, was there a vote, right? Did we vote on Instagram? You know, or like we're just getting to that point where at some point Instagram is going to decide, you know what, we want to turn down this hashtag here, this one here talking about Zano must fall. No, we don't want people to see that, right? Or we're going to turn off Senna's mic, and it's very, very dangerous, because I get some people, we don't need to hear what they have to say, but at the same time, who decides, right, that for a whole, you know, planet, we're not going to hear this individual? Because social media is so powerful at this point. You know, when you do have a voice, and even when you don't have a voice, it's still, that's a powerful statement to have this all blocked, and like now all of a sudden you don't exist, and a couple, you know, execs have decided, sharp low some coach. I don't know, I just feel very uneasy about that part of it at the end of the day.
I agree with you, and I'll even take it back to the most popular case of this, when Twitter kicked Trump off its platform, right? I'm not a Trump supporter. I really couldn't give a damn what Donald Trump thinks. I don't agree with most of what he thinks. And I think someone with half a brain, or, you know, would understand, okay, this guy was just spewing a lot of nonsense. He lost the election, blah, 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 right? Now, take him off the platform and ban him from Twitter completely. Twitter said he violated their rules and terms and conditions and blah, blah, blah. But then the problem with that is whoever's in charge of Twitter then gets to decide what they like and how they want to interpret those rules, right? I think it was along the lines of Trump saying the election was rigged, blah, blah, blah. Although it wasn't proven, but hey, if he believes so, then let him take it up with the powers that be. Twitter is not the one place where what he says is all of a sudden gospel, right? People are going to... If he's not spreading hate, he's not encouraging the death or the violence on someone or whatever it is, ultimately, I'm not convinced that there was a reason to ban him. People might disagree. I think at times you just leave. I mean, that's why we have social media. They're just like a platform where we all socialize. Sometimes we agree. Half the time on Twitter, I think Lois Okola said, Twitter's like a taxi rank. we disagree, and that should be fine, right? I may not like your views, as long as your views are in most ways respectful of someone's right to dignity, right to express themselves, right to be whoever they want to be, then it's fine. If I'm not discriminating or encouraging discrimination, then leave me to post my Dagwa takes in peace.
And you know what makes me, I don't know, because again, this is just my personal view on it, is like, people have been saying and doing wild shit for the longest time, right? And this concern, and generally the concern is that, oh, you know, he's saying all of these things that are so misogynistic, and, you know, it's not right, he's disrespecting Lola, and it's like, okay, fine, but like, you don't have to give this person, you know, attention. He's not, as far as I'm concerned, he's not a political figure or whatever. He's not influencing policy. And if someone has a cultist movement that shares all their shit, then okay, they share all their shit. Because I think it's almost in the bracket of when GTA was hot when we were growing up, right? GTA 4, GTA 3, GTA 4 era, Lapa, Vice City, San Andreas, and there was all this like stuff about, oh, you shouldn't let your kids play GTA because it's gonna fuck them up mentally. And it's like, bro, to my knowledge, Senna's not going around standing in front of a car, pressing triangle, and hijacking the car. You know what I mean? Like, Senna's not doing that right now. instead of not beating up strippers on the road. Like, it's like these are some of the things where people can discern, okay, this is nonsense, and I'm not gonna pay attention to it and move on. And then others will be like, no, I agree, bro. And it's like, okay, fine, agree with Undokwa. Because at this point, if that's the case, then let's ban it's Satanism, Bella. Any Satan-related shit must be removed from all platforms, right? Like, we might as well. Like, let's just clean everything out. Let's get it out of here.
Weird.
Yeah, like again, the point is, it's a slippery slope. Like, no one is trying to, neither me or Senna is trying to say no. What he's saying or doing is justified. No, we are clearly on the side of no. Yeah, absolutely, right? But I mean, he has a couple things. Like, but here's the thing. I think what he stands for, at least again, I've seen probably 5 or 6 of his videos over a span of a year, right? From what I've been able to put together, he is pro hypermasculinity. So that's kind of his brand, hypermasculinity, kind of sort of anti-women-ish type of thing.
Kind of sort of anti-women.
No. So what I mean by that is, like, he was like, if you want to be successful in life, he said something along the lines, if you want to be successful in life, you shouldn't be with a woman, because women kind of slow you. I don't know if he said slow you down. He didn't, like, and I'm not quoting, but what he was trying to say is, if you remove a woman from your life, right, and you're surrounded by the bros, you wake up early and you go to the gym because your bros can motivate you to go to the gym, business ideas and, all this other shit. It's like all this kind of stuff where, as guys, we do talk about that stuff, and again, I understood where he was coming from, in the sense that I'm in a relationship right now, and I remember the days when I wasn't, or at least when I was in long distance and I lived with Tate. I lived a completely different life. It was structured a different way. Like, basic things that me and you have
definitely
about.
Cheaper.
Now, what's hard for us, for the two of us, it's going to the gym, right, on a consistent schedule, getting crazy, like that kind of thing. Now, when you're in a relationship where you're like like your woman, it's much harder, because now there's this thing called quality time, right? You have to check in with the missus. You want to check in with the missus. Let me not make it seem like it's a forced bet, right? So 1, when magisi register, but 2, you want to magisa the register, right? Whereas when I lived with Tate, it's like I literally chill with Tate. We talk, we catch up for like 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? Right, Ngi, let's hit the gym. We can wake up in the morning, or we can go after work. Like, you literally, we can turn it into a schedule where it's not as easy. Like, now it's inconvenient. Like, before, when you didn't have that relationship obligation, there's that lack of quality time that you don't really need to feel like that. Meaning, you can now design a schedule where you can get enough sleep. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. now, or because you're married, to get in a good.
Also, your time is your
6
time.
6 a.m, make it to work. Yeah, so it's like all these things where it's like, okay, I understood where he was, the basic themes of what he was saying, but he was way too aggressive with it, and it's what we kind of come at Twitter hunts for. Why are you using all this big language? Are you really trying to educate people? And with him, why do you need to be so aggressive, right? Because if you're really trying to get a point across, right, your themes can make sense to certain people, but you need to really change the tone of your message. And if you change the tone of your message, some people might want to listen to you and say, okay, cool, that makes sense. But if you come too aggressive and say, you won't do shit in your career if you have a woman next to you, it's like, okay, like at that point, I've automatically stopped listening to you. At that point, I'm really saying, like, it's just whatever. Your words are just that's all. Exactly. And it's like, if you're really trying to spread a message, which is why I'm saying, him and Twitter Hands, I put them in the same WhatsApp group, because you guys are all doing the same thing, which is, hey, look at me, this is my rhetoric. And then, Twitter Hands is saying, oh, I'm so smart and educated and woke. And, Andrew Tate is saying, hey, I'm hyper masculine, I'm a bro, and it's like, but still, like, you're really doing this for your corner, for your party.
Yeah.
But you're not really trying to, actually help people understand shit. You're not trying to help anyone. you're doing this for
Ain't
yourself.
nothing.
It's pretty selfish.
Yeah, no, Vele ain't nothing else. It's just it's a rhetoric thing. You're, for the most part, it's an agenda, right? You want people to view a particular way, and it doesn't help Oguti.
Yeah.
One of the things with social media is then we have, I'm not sure if you actually saw the UCT vice chancellors, the whole thing the other day, but you have these people who'll be in the comment section basically encouraging you. And then, obviously people feed off those comments and they're like, yeah, Shooty, I'm doing the right thing. And then they just keep going and they won't stop. And in that regard, we're all, they're similar in that sense, right? It's just that we're just on different sides of the coin. And then what determines whether or not you get kicked off the app or platform is what's popular at the time. Which thingy is more popular at the time, which view or rhetoric is acceptable by the people.
Let me see. I found a video here. I don't know what this one says or whatever you're saying. Let's see if it's one of the ones that I've heard before. If it is, then I'll let it play out.
And you'll give up your life. What the government wants is slavery. Slavery's not gone anywhere, right? So the old school idea of slavery, let's talk about slavery. The government would get slaves, make them work for free, and build things. That's slavery. So they've stopped doing that now. So what do? Now? They get people, make them build things for money. But the government print all the money. So if a government can create as much as they want of something from thin air, and you give up your life for this thing they can create from thin air as much as they want, you are still their slave. That's it. You used to be a slave and you'd work all day, and at the end you got food in the house. Now you work all day, you get money, and you spend all your money on food and bills.
So that's pretty much what I mean, but again, Senna, this is not, which is what what shocked me about this ban, right? And why I need to investigate this further is because I've heard this kind of stuff before. He's not, it's not like, oh shit, did you hear what this guy is saying? I've heard crazy takes and conspiracy theories like this before, and even his hyper masculinity. I've seen it. I've seen this shit before. So that's why I'm like, bro, like really, like, which is why I'm guessing there must be some bigger stuff that he's being banned for. Because if it's really this type of stuff, it's like,
no.
Again, you need to ban a lot more people. It's all over the place, and it's your choice. Are you gonna consume it or not?
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
Yeah, at best that's misinformation, right? Because everyone knows that governments don't just print money. They don't just cook it up, print money so that there's more money, right? It's a whole... Zimbabwe thought they could do that.
You ever heard of Zim?
But exactly, that's the one example where you see with the Aksebenzi. It's not a matter of just printing money to fix problems, right? It's not like someone just sitting there making us work for the money. Ultimately, if that's all he's being banned for, then guys, it's misplaced. Unless there has to be something else. There has to be, if those are his takes and then it extends to other dizzier stuff, I don't think there's a need to ban someone for that. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let me see here. Well, again, I'll investigate the case further, and we'll find out. Mr. Moy, so I was doing my one of my assignments, and it's a sales and strategy course, and I learned something. It was something that I had to calculate called total addressable market. Right, it's a calculation where if you have a business, long story short, you're looking at the potential revenue, right, that is in that market when you get the numbers, right? So essentially, you look at how many people purchase the product or will purchase the product versus how much the product costs, and then that will give you your total addressable market, right? That's just like the long and short of all of that. So I decided to look at, because, a lot of people kind of resonated with our chat when we were talking about the IELTS and the TOEFL and all that other, shit. I was thinking about, how much have, you know, our governments and our leaders wronged us as a continent, because the amount of money, because you know, people make big headlines of how much money we send back as the diaspora, right, home on a monthly and a yearly basis. And I thought about how much money is going out. You know, I was very curious about that. And if we just I looked at the Nigeria market, right? So just in terms of post grad in Nigeria, that's all that I looked at. And according to one of the articles that I found, what did it say? It said Uti roughly last year to the UK alone, right? So to the UK alone, it was about just about 21,000 students who went from Nigeria for postgraduate studies last year, right? And to the States, they had about 11,000 went to the States, and 9,000 went to Canada. But I just focused in on the UK number. And, you know, if you just looked at the UK number, so based on, let's say, the average, if I averaged out school fees to maybe, let's say, £20,000, right? Let's just go £20,000 for the average school fees, times the 21,000 students, in terms of the money that the UK market is able to collect, right? Potentially, it came up to about 420 million pounds in potential revenue that's out there from just Nigerian students alone looking to do a postgrad last year. So the UK government potentially can make up to 420 million pounds just on that one country, just on postgrad, Aska Kuluminge undergrad.
420.
Yeah, 420 million pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So again, it just kind of reinforced where it's just like, bro, this, and obviously there's additional costs that come with all of that now when you add in our IELTS, our TOEFL, and all this other stuff. So contributing towards the UK GBP, it's mad, right? And then now you add in all the Zimbos and the rest of Africa. Of course, Nigeria is a huge country in terms of the numbers that go abroad and stuff like that, right? So they would be the biggest outlier. But it's insane. So now if you think about that, and then you think about the US, you think about, you know, Australia and Canada, and people are like, yeah, no, I want to do that. It's like, bruh, imagine if that was yearly revenue going to Nigeria alone on, you know, university expenses. Like, it all this potential. Bruh. It actually pisses me off. It pisses me off that we are in this situation. Like, these are the times when I'm like, you know what, I wish I was white and like British. Then at least I can look and be like, oh, my country is great. Look at all this great stuff that we have. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get rid of my passport. You know, like, it's just, I can't stand my passport. So it's like, it's very, very frustrating. Like, so I was like, you know what, let me just calculate this. Let me see what the million. And yeah, it's crazy. You know, I'm sure if you did it for Zim in terms of, you know, school fees going out of Zim, you know, if we had the systems in place, of which,
Zimbabwe exports roughly about 75% of its middle class for education.
75%.
That's a huge number. So not the youth population, right? So if we're looking at the middle class, the number of kids who leave, maybe it's less than that. I don't know, but I read a stat a few years back with the whole middle class, when you actually take it, like people who earn within, you know, where parents are like comfortable, they run their own businesses, they have their own money. First things first is just to send the child outside the country. Yes, the child might come back to work or whatever, but the majority, well more than half, send their child out the country. So whether they go to South Africa, they send them to the USA, England, Australia. This is just for education, right? I'm not counting the ones who stay to take over dad's business. The guys who go out to study, most leave the country. It's huge, dude. It's big numbers. Like, if you think about it now, like all the people that we went to high school with at CBC, and then the guys we know from Petrofalk and GCE, and then even when you go look at schools like Milton and other schools in town, a huge number of people left, bro. Like, literally left the country.
No, absolutely. And
And
what's
those-
funny is that these guys treat us like Siyabancenga, these countries. And if you were to tell, the Minister of Education, but yeah, Chief, that 420 million we get from Nigeria, that's not coming this year. They would lose their minds. They would lose their minds.
Yeah,
Apparently there's this nursing program that's going around that people are doing, and it's successfully getting people across in the UK because they need a bunch of nurses post-COVID and stuff like that. So you do this course and it's kind of like a straight line to the UK, and people are doing that because they need the help, because UK citizens are like, you guys don't even
It's an
pay
aging
well,
population.
Yeah, and it's like, and all these things are like, I just hate how we are disrespected. But at the same time, if every African decided, you know what, this year I'm not going abroad, the world economy would be destabilized in a lot of countries. And they're like, yo, because first of all, your own citizens don't pay school fees. You as your government are getting money from all these different places, these different taxes, to subsidize John and Tom and Sarah and whoever to come to school for free. And these international students, but we are 20k, 10k, whatever. Cash money. Really, agula malone, agula nothing. This is revenue, baba.
I actually wanted to touch on something, but I think this will be, I'll make this like a bonus episode with someone, but I'm not sure if you're keeping up with South African news, right? So, well, I think me and you have had a private conversation about this, but then it's like confirmed. If you studied law in South Africa, you couldn't be admitted, right? South Africa is actually following, so the funny thing is SA is copying the international models of UK, Australia, Canada, whatever, as if it's a first world country, which is very fascinating when I think about it. But anyways,
brave.
So when you study law in South Africa, right, you can't be admitted unless you're a permanent resident or a citizen, right? So that's admitted
to what?
To be an attorney or an advocate, right? So admitted.
What is
to
this,
the
like
bar.
the board? What was it?
Yes, the
bar.
thing,
Sorry.
right?
No.
So you can do all the exams, you can do all of that, but to actually practice and like, go to court, I'm not talking like the kind of roles that I'm in. So I'm a non-practicing lawyer, right? I don't go to court in the robes and all of that stuff, right? So.
Of which those looked ridiculous. I saw South African court scene, and I was like, "You guys look dumb as fuck."
That looks really silly. It was just when you make it the
with the
Zimbabwean
wigs,
with the magic,
like
the judges to wear the wigs. But anyways, right? So for the longest time, that's been one of the requirements that people come to South Africa, they study law, and then they can't get admitted as attorneys, and then they caught in a can't win situation. So they either go home and often have to write conversion exams to practice in their home country, which is the case with Zim. So if you study in SA, you have to write conversions to be admitted in Zim, or you stay in SA but you can't be admitted, or that's how you end up having people doing masters, PhD, all that stuff, not because they want to, but just because no other choice, right? The alternative is to go back home and look for a job. Often that's not the best scenario. So this went all the way to the Con Court, right? And they were like, so people challenged. They're like, look, just get rid of the requirement, right? Just let people study in SA and then get perm res, and then they can thingy, and then they can practice. And the Con Court was like, no, the rule is fine. It must stay where you are to preserve opportunities for South Africans. We don't think, people can still find jobs, even if they're not admitted, which they can, to be honest. You can still find a job or whatever. But then what they didn't want to rule on was the fact that this is not explained to law students when they apply to get into South African universities. So the universities will let you apply.
Oh, really?
No, they don't. They'll let you apply. They'll take your application fees. They'll process it. They will admit as many of you as possible. They'll take your money, and then uzabona suphakathi. Actually, but by then it's too late, right? I think that's the that's the situation I think a lot of us kind of found ourselves in with the law profession, and it might be the case for other professions as well, right? So someone was like, actually, so why don't you just make it a case of these you can't admit non-South Africans to study law in South Africa, right? Just make it easy. But they don't want to rule on that. Do you know why, Mr. Maps?
Imali.
Because of the same reasons. You know that these guys are going to come, they're going to pay the fees, full price.
Cash man.
Yeah, cash money, tuition plus res, all of it, Kawan. And what that does is it subsidizes things like NSFAS, because obviously South African students, a lot of them now want a free education, right? They now want... they don't want to pay the fees. They get study loans and all that shit.
So where is that money now going to come from?
So the operational money, I think, to sustain the university, a lot of it is subsidized by foreign nationals, and then government gives them some of it, and the university.
But guess who gets the shittiest treatment? It's so funny.
I'm always like, and I encourage people, right? Whenever people come to me, they're like, hey, look, Mtanami is whatever, you seem to have made it. My child wants to study law. I'm like, don't. Rather, they look on that critical skills list and find a job there. It's not easy going. But anyways, I'm always saying, look, the money aspect, coming back to our original chat, it's the same. And SA is following that method of which let's just take as much money as we can from these guys and give them the shittiest treatment or no opportunities or whatever it is. What's unfortunate is I think people are also now awake to it. And less and less people are going to start sending out money for visa and whatever and whatever and whatever. Unfortunately, and not until the country improves.
Exactly.
Will we see a significant
That's
shift.
The problem. Because once a lot of African countries start to rehabilitate themselves, that's when you will see SA panic. That's when you'll see UK and all these other places panic. Because even I was reading somewhere, the UK sort of loosened some rules a few years ago because enrollment went down in terms of specifically like Nigerians, for example. They started flocking to the West, to America, and to Canada. Then they started to loosen some rules to make getting a study visa even easier. And then those numbers started to shoot back up. So like, they know. That's the funny thing is that they know bro, this dollar is important. This money here, we need this
to be honest,
because this is free money.
If I could encourage, and it's easy to say this now because I've gone through, because we've gone through the path, right? We've walked the path and we've come out the other side, we've gotten jobs, blah blah blah. So it's almost easy to say it post facto. But I'm always like, if we collectively create opportunities in our own countries by ourselves, you'll start to see the loosening of the South Africa as one of the so they're following the UK and all the other countries in terms of very strict immigration laws, right? I think once we start to develop home and our own nations and our own environments, they will be begging, we could offer you.
But you're one of the problem,
discount.
and this is what they're betting on. This is where you need your Twitter hands to come in with the big words and talk about the effect of colonization and all of that kind of shit, because it's the systemic racism, all of that shit, right? Now when we looking into that neighborhood of problems, right? Those guys have left Africa in a state that is so wrecked. It's an abusive relationship, right? Where we can't afford to leave you, even though you're an abusive partner. Like it works perfectly for them. Fantastic. We give aid to help local, but like just to make sure it covers one or two things but everything else, we have to now send our best minds, and to Lokuzen. And then the ones who aren't the best minds are the ones who get left behind. Like, like the ones we don't want, they stay in Africa. The ones we do want, they make a plan to come abroad. Whether it's via scholarship or, their parents work hard or whatever it is. And it's so shitty because obviously, again, think about it. If we just focused on Zim, right? How much stuff do we need to turn around in Zim for Senna to be willing to move back to Zim? That's the question that everybody has to ask themselves, because we all tweet about it. Yeah, I wish I could go home. I wish, to be honest, bruh, I wish I could go home and settle in skies. Like I
always say this. I actually always say this.
Bits.
I always say the same thing. Oguti, you know, and it always comes across as if you think it's easy being in Zim. You know, I understand that it's not. That is why I actually haven't done it. But there's a lot of hostility.
Exactly.
There's a lot of hostility when you live in a foreign country, right? I understand why people leave Africa and they leave their home country for better opportunities. Sometimes you're literally sitting at home and then there are no opportunities, there's no money, you can't put food on the table for the kids.
Bro, how many homies do we have right now in Zim who, like, literally, you know, this person's smart as hell, but I will have planned. Like, there's nothing that this person can do that's going to be fruitful. So man's just chilling in Zim.
Yeah, but at the same time,
like it's corrosive.
When you live in a foreign country, it's nice to an extent. Cost of living is obviously high, but the one thing that it's not home. Unfortunately, that's not something that you can proper put a finger on or explain to someone who actually is home and still struggling. Is a good tea, hey brah, there's a lot of hostility that comes from your home country. You know,
a hill that I'm willing to die on, right? It's a bit of a joke, but for me personally, as Utab, authentic. Have you ever had authentic Italian pizza? Like, hey, this is a pizza restaurant, Italian, authentic, Have you ever had one of those pizzas?
Yeah, I've had pasta.
It's disgusting. Absolutely hate it.
Which I didn't enjoy.
I hate it. I hate authentic Italian pizza. Like, the way the Italians make it is trash.
Even the way Italians make pasta, bro.
The authentic Italian... No, pasta I haven't had. I don't think I'll need to go to an Italian restaurant to come.
I went to one in town. Really overrated.
Yeah, it didn't slap.
Yeah, it didn't slap.
No, for me, authentic Italian pizza is Pizza Inn. That's just my truth in life. Pizza Inn, the peri peri item, the burvos item, like the steak item, like that is authentic Italian pizza. It even has the Italian flag, first of all, on the box. So it doesn't get more authentic than that. But like, I remember the first time I had authentic Italian pizza, I was hyped. I was like, oh shit, this is about to be the OG, you know? And
it wasn't.
The guy brings it, fried cheese, it's just like, literally, it's like they get the dough, Italian soup, soup which you put on rice and do it. Like it's like, wow, what the hell? So put the tomato paste or whatever on the thing. And they say chisa on the edges because they use like a wooden fire stove, and it's now like chowing malache, and it's like, bruh, and then they put these weird white blobs of cheese. Nah. And then
but it's like with everything else.
On the pizza, you put a whole ass meatball on the atom, and it's like, why would you put a big ass meatball on the pizza and have this thin ass slice of pizza? Obviously, I can't hold it now. You know, like, hey, I asked, can you? It was proper authentic Italian pizza, and they don't put chicken. In authentic Italian pizza, there is no chicken pizza, and I was like, oh, that's dumb.
That doesn't make sense.
It's just like a meatball atom, and then like, I'm guessing you guys don't have pineapples either. No, sir, we don't. It's just like, bruh.
But you know, see, it's like with everything else, they come up with it, and then everyone else perfects it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. No. They started the base model. It's like, yeah, I respect y'all for that. I respect y'all for the base model, but you know, Pizza Inn is taking it to another level. I'm just saying, Pizza Inn has created the best pizza in the world. Like it's that good. But anyway, Mr. Moy, like we were saying with the, you know, there's just so much that needs to be improved for people to be willing to come back home, and it would need to be and that's the thing about even like kind of going and pushing back on governments, right? Is because it's not enough of a movement. If the whole nation says, no, for Seganin, there's change. Look at Kenya. Was it Kenya or Tanzania? One of those, like, got a president who wasn't meant to be elected, and the whole country said, now you're shy. And there was change. In a few days, it was out there. You know, the guy was out
ultimately
there. So, you know, it's just not enough people who will come and be like, right, I'm down for the cause. it'll always be a fringe
Yeah.
division. And for as long as it's a fringe division, because again, we're all making selfish decisions, right? Sena's not gonna civil war is about right? Like in as much as you bleed for in your heart, you're not gonna be like, right, baby, I'm pulling up to skies, give me an AK-47, Ziakal. Like, you're not doing that. And if you told me you're doing that, I would literally fly to Cape Town, drug you, because you're not going anywhere, right? We all make selfish decisions. We all make selfish decisions.
Unfortunately.
I'd never villainize someone for making those selfish decisions, because, yeah, it is tough. Because if we went back to skies, we'll be holding our dicks like, bruh, since that.
So the
situation
solution
is pretty bad, which is sad.
is to vote. We have to.
The solution is for these 2Ks to grow up and change shit, bro. Because that's the generation. I believe in 2Ks. Personally, I believe in 2Ks have got way too much attitude to stand for this level of ineptitude in Africa.
It is the same
that's
people
my firm belief. They're not
talk back to
tolerant.
parents. They talk back to African parents, bruh.
Exactly.
I respect.
So
that.
if they've got the balls to talk back to African parents, I'm pretty sure they'll have the balls to talk back to ED and Co. So it's all within. I was taught to respect. So personally, if ED were to pull up, but the 2K, be like, hey, when I'm telling a 2K would tell a visitor that.
But look, I think it's past our generation, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think independence.
There was a young protest nyana, but I think our generation is defeated. I think.
Yeah, no, I think it's just some of these things need people to die. No,
Wow.
some of these things need people to die, and the only thing that guarantees death, unfortunately, is time.
COVID Zamad, bruh.
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
a week
yeah.
where someone's falling, and I was like, oh, is this gonna happen? Like, it looked like we're on their way out, and unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
But ultimately,
But-
barring another person rising up from the youth ranks to oppress us even more, time will get rid of these old timers.
I mean, there could be a super 2K. There could be a super 2K out there, bro, who's about to niece us, show us the heaviest flames.
I'm not ready.
Bruh, it's anyway. Let's not dwell on that. Mr. Moyo, as we wrap up, there's something here that I wanted to let you put right. What befriend girlfriend's friends? What's going on here?
There was actually a whole chat on Twitter. I'm not sure if we've actually have we spoken about this, but anyways, there was a whole chat on Twitter where I think it was a girl who said that she wouldn't let her girlfriends follow her mans on social media. And then obviously, you know what those tweet leads to, Mr. Maps. It leads to a whole conversation where people are like, why are you guys friends with girls you can't trust around your mans? You know, why are you guys doing XYZ? It was a very interesting chat. And I was like, no, let me ask Tabo this because I want to get your views. Do you think, and you don't have to, do you think it's okay for you to be like proper friends with your wife's friends? To an extent where you guys...
Because women don't know how to keep it in their pants. So, no. It's, yeah, no. Bro, you know those stories, bro. Scandalous items. So, even my wife, I was like, we'll go out to like a bride or a party or whatever, right? And then I'll meet some of her friends, super cool people, like just chill, really, as you know, as normal as shit can be, right? And then maybe once I've met said individual, maybe 3-4 times, right, in a couple of months, that individual will then send me. Sometimes it's even like after the first time or after the first 2 times of meeting, they'll then send me a follow request, and then I'll go every single time. I'll be like, babe, Uzbani sent me a follow request. Immediately, same reaction every single time. I laugh every single time. So, Ufuna. And I'm like, what do you mean Ufuna? She's your friend. She's like, right, delete that request. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I go ahead and I delete the request. So like she does not tolerate it at all. So like I do it just to annoy her. I'll be like, oh yeah, when send me a friend request, just to see her reaction, because it's priceless every single time. But I do understand where she's coming from, because again, I don't know, for I guess I'm not as anal about it from a guy's point of view, just because like at least the women that I've dealt with, right? They're not when they're in a relationship and they love their dude, they don't make themselves accessible. That's what I've learned. Like if they're into you, and I've always, in every relationship that I've been in, I've always experienced this. Once a hun is into you, Brad, like it just all the other gents that were talking to her, that she was talking to, don't exist. Like Vele, you are number one. You are one and only, and Vele, that's what it is. So for me, she hardly even she will tell me sometimes, so anybody sent me a follow request, and I'll be like, okay, whatever, you can accept if you want, but like I don't, I don't care, right?
You're not.
But on the guy side, we're and the thing is, people like you and me, we're very like social dudes, and people always take us to be very, very
we have a
nice
podcast,
guys, right? So if you meet if you meet Senna on the street, right, or if you meet Senna at a braai rather, and Senna's with his missus, and this said girl comes up to you, who's your missus' friend, Senna's gonna be the most charming guy. Hey, how you doing? La la la, ha ha ha, bust some jokes. Senna's gonna be a cool guy, right? But that's just Senna being Senna. That's just Tabo being Tabo. And then all of a sudden, Hans get excited. Ooh, like, oh my God, Senna was so funny. Let me follow this guy. Here, like, again, not, some of them are doing it notoriously. Others, I think most of them are doing it like innocently, which, Senna was just, he had a really cool vibe. I'd like to follow his locals and his social media, right? There are people like that.
Yeah, also, what's this IP Thursday he talks about?
Exactly. I value you personally. I know plenty of women who would not be able to stand your ass, because you got so much shit that's going on. Hey, Vele, why does she want to read your IP Thursday? It's not even that interesting. Go like Vele, if you have the wrong hand, it would be so funny. It would be the funniest shit ever, because you'd lock down your social media. And then, I mean, again, we had that conversation a few weeks ago where I asked you, and I thought Senna stopped gymming. I genuinely thought Senna had stopped going to the gym. So I call Senna. Senna's like, yo, Senna, what was cut? He's like, Angie, I'm in the mid. He's like, oh yeah, I'm in the gym. I'm like, oh shit, you haven't been to the gym in a minute, fam. That's literally my reaction, because I have not seen it on social media at all for months. Like, I haven't seen Senna in the gym. So I'm thinking, really, if it's not on socials, because Senna used to be a thought. When Senna was single, that nigga was thoughting on Instagram, posting his biceps.
No.
Even Gatesi, you're not as big as you used to be, Sen. Because you used to dedicate time in the gym. You used to be chiseled. Now you're
Can
you're
I
still
just
buff,
say...
It's come down a little bit.
Can I just say, Uguti?
Yes,
I wasn't being a thought. I was just...
You were being a thought.
Posting my
Senna,
pictures.
every single time you posted a gym picture,
stories...
What did you say happened in the DMs?
Nothing happened.
What did you say happened in the DMs?
Nothing happened in the DMs. Nothing.
Exactly. So, Mr. Moyo figured out there's a correlation between gym selfies and DM activity. Unwanted DM, unwarranted, unprovoked. Well, it is provoked. So, DM activity.
No, it's unprovoked.
So, Mr. Moyo is no longer doing that. It's because you have a provoker, bruh. No,
I wasn't provoking anything. Hi.
No, but you are. No,
but
it's true.
But that wasn't. At the end of the day, but that's not the thing, though. No, but I wasn't.
I'm not saying it's your intent. I'm not saying your intent is to provoke abantu. I'm not. Intent and the reality are two different things. You do not intend to provoke the people, but you are provoking the people because it results in DM activity. So if you weren't provoking abantu Senna, there would be no DM activity, because like, no, Senna doesn't mean to thirst trap us, therefore no need to hit up Senna. Nobody does that maths. The maths that they do is like, oh my God, look at his muscles. oh yeah, they're so nice. His black and white picture, we're seeing the sweat on the bicep. You know, he's put this Rastafarian song. Oh, let me put some fire emojis, or let me slide in and talk to him about this. Like, now you've given Hans an angle to jump in. Like, trust me, dog. Me, I used to get heavy lectures, bro. My wife. Post a picture. I used to get told beams, bro, about what I'm saying. Or if I posted a picture or a caption, or even like the Instagram things, the ask me a question. I used to do that shit. You know, it's like why do you asking? You know, why do you want to be asked questions? Now you're looking for, you know, like literally, she'd look at me. It's like, so when you're now looking for the host. I'm like, no, babe. I genuinely want to know people's opinions on this.
I don't know what the host at.
You know, like, bro, no. She literally, my wife has villainized so many scenarios in my mind where it's like, bro, this is where your mind, like this is how you're moving. And again, she's been proven right a lot of times. That's the fucked up part. So you'll be like, hey, babe, you're overthinking shit, and you know, all of a sudden, boom. When he hits me up in the DMs, and I'm like, damn, like so she knows, what she's talking about. So I respect her in the sense that I know, you know, women, bro. Like I respect her, but there's certain things that me and her have. Like, I'm like, no, babe, no Han would ever think this, and lo and behold, there's a Han who thinks exactly what she said. So she is just like enlightened me in terms of how the other gender thinks and how they calculate things, and like, again, the rate at which she has been correct is what has been scary to me. That's what like what she said. I'm like, no, bro, you're being extra. But the rate at which is like, yo,
this is right.
This is some accurate shit. It's very scary personally. It's very, very scary. But anyway,
so
Mr. Moyo,
people. No, I wasn't provoking the people, but what happened is I didn't even need to get a lecture, by the way, right? I just realized, okay, some of the whatever that you get from posting like gym pictures, gym videos all the time.
Yeah, you were putting up the bat signal and you were wondering why the criminals showed up.
No, but to be honest, even during like my single days, even I'd be posting like gym pictures or whatever, nothing would come off it, right? But
because Senna, now they see you're treating a woman well. Like, I don't know what it is. There's this thing in a woman's brain where once they see you know what, Senna is a good looking dude. But once they see he's a good looking dude, that's making this other girl happy as fuck. You took her out on a trip. Ooh, look, and she looks like she's glowing. It's like something in them goes, but you know what? Now that this girl is having a good time, she's confirmed, Senna's a good dude. Now let me recruit a good dude. Yeah, but actually, in actuality, if you think about it logically, it's very smart what women do, right? They let someone else do the 30-day trial of Senna, and then once they've done the 30-day trial of Senna, then they click the buy option, not your partner. So that, like, I can't be mad at it, bro. I can't
that
be
Chris
mad
Rock
at
special where remember that Chris Rock special where he talks about some of y'all in here with stolen husband. Shame, that bitch was slipping.
Exactly.
But
no.
Okay, so wait.
Women will gank a nigga.
So in a fascinating way, right? So you actually think it is reasonable for women to be like, when you can't have my man's number, you can't follow my man's on socials, you can't be hitting up my man's.
I think it's absolutely because people can get familiar, and it'll again, it's just a slippery slope. So for most people, they'll be normal, but then it's not about, in real life, it's not like 10 hands are going to want me and gonna do the most, right? I'm not a celeb, but there's always one. So you're guarding against one, not many. You're guarding against that one who will risk it all for you. I think that's where it all stems from.
Okay, that's fascinating, right? So you don't think those people are being insecure if they're like, yay. I've to be honest,
nah, it's not.
One of the chats that came across.
I don't see it as insecure.
One of the chats that came across was, hey, next thing you're asking my mans, hey, for favors, hey, hey, call your mans for transport. Oh no, I called Ubanvani to ask him to come pick us up. Or but I mean, if they're your friends, then surely.
To send Ole Hilux, can he come and help me move?
So my chat would be right.
You pull up to a yard and she's in booty shorts and a spaghetti top. Nah.
So my chat would be, as a guy, right? These aren't my friends. They're your friends. So why are you still hanging with them?
Yes.
If you clearly don't trust these women.
I mean, because sometimes it's instinctual, right? Like, I don't think there is. I mean, there are some who genuinely have umoyo, right? But like, you can mistake your way into some pussy, bro. Like,
you can mistake your way.
Like, it's like, no, honestly, bro, you can literally mistake your way into some pussy. It's like, bro, I wasn't looking for this. Neither were you. But like, you speak to. Think about it this way. Right, if you've ever been with someone who's wound up to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend, where you met each other and there was no like initial physical attraction, but there's like been that mental attraction where if you spend enough time with each other, eventually it's like, oh damn, how did I not notice you the first time? Because me and you have so much in common, all this other stuff. So like that opportunity for y'all to get to know each other is what I think a lot of people want to avoid, because that's what starts relationships, getting to know someone. Why are you trying to get to know someone else's homies? Yeah, but so if you set up an environment where you're literally talking to your girlfriend's like bestie or close friend or whatever on a consistent basis, you guys are hanging out together and it's just normal conversation. It's not like she's flirting or whatever. It's just in jail. You guys are in each other's company. Something can go wrong somewhere where you guys start to see each other as more than what it should be. Then all of a sudden, chiggy, the right situation, it's mwahs and it's and then it's like next thing.
But then that could happen.
The girlfriend is no longer the girlfriend. She's been ousted.
But that could happen with literally any woman in the world, right? It can be a work colleague. It could be someone from church.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
could be someone from wherever, right? This can happen.
Yes, you're right.
It's not just with your friends, right? It can happen with anyone. I'm just saying, Guti, isn't there an exception, Guti, because these are your friends, you vetted these people to be in your life, surely they don't pose a threat to your relationship, because I assume, Guti, because you have them there, you trust them around your energy and your space, and often in future around your children, but it's there by your husband where you're like, it can't.
But then of a situation, I think I even said it on the pod a few weeks ago. One of my boys dated this girl, and then another one of my boys in the same circle dated the same girl literally a few days or weeks after that relationship ended. Bro. Like it happened. Proper. They were it was boyfriend, girlfriend with boy number one. They broke up for whatever reason. And then boyfriend, girlfriend with boy number two. Same hunt. So again, it happens on both sides. I think we just as niggas were less woke to it as much. But I mean, I always think about it this way. If I believe that my woman is a baddie, chances are, like what did we say at the beginning of the podcast? Synergies, right? So if me and you see a whole lot of shit the same way, if we see football the same way, if we see all these things and we have all these ideas and like how relationship, all these random things that you can think of, if me and you are consistently on the same page, then there's a high probability that even with hands that we find attractive, there could be some overlap.
Of course.
There could, again, it's not every single girl, but there's some girls where like you might look and be like, yeah, I know she a baddie. And I might say, yeah, I know she a baddie. And it's like, bruh.
It could be every single girl, right? No, and it could be every single girl. But in my head, I'm always like, no, that's my boy, right? Ultimately, our relationship proceeds. Right? So he should be comfortable enough with me around his partner without thinking, this one.
Nah, but mina personally, there was even so one of my close friends, right? We went out. So with my girl, when I was still, we were still in a relationship before, we got married or whatever. In the first 6 months, within the first 6 months of the relationship, right? We had gone out and I was catching a flight. So we went out, partied, and then I was catching a flight the next afternoon. So my boy and my girl take me to the airport in Joburg. Take me to the airport, I'm catching a flight. And then, now, like, again, because we had gone out, it was lit the night before. She's like, bruh, me, I'm hanging. So I'm going to go back to your boy's place and I'm going to crash. And then after I wake up, I'm shocked. Like, literally, my man had like a 2 or 3 bedroom cabin. So, like, literally, good space. So, again, this is my yap. This is my guy, right? This is my guy. So it was on an initial basis. I'm like, okay, cool, shop. Go crash and then you go home after, right? But a few, like, even like 5 minutes later, I was like, but chief, just go home. Go home and sleep. Like, it's just one of those, because also the thing is, like, there was some stuff that we had, because we had been crashing with him for the last week or so. Like, that was my base, because I didn't live in SA. So he was like, no, I'm staying with my boy, whatever. So she had left some stuff at the crib. She's like, no, I need to pick up some stuff at the crib. Also, traffic is hectic going home on this day in Joburg, in Jani. So me, I'm going to crash for 2-3 hours, then get an Uber, go home. So on the surface, everything is above board. It makes sense, right? Who wants to be stuck in traffic and when your Uber charging you more and more money, right? And in SA, not recommended to fall asleep in a car if you're a hunt, right? So all these things are coming together. And it's like, but still, I'm even to this day thinking about it, I'm still not a fan of that. I'm like, chief.
Yeah.
Like, can I even give you? And again, this is my guy. Like, I know he would never do that, but still, you're like, you don't want to tempt fate. That's it. You don't have to tempt, because if the worst were to happen, then it's like, but chief, like, Lawe, you saw these things lining up like this. Yeah, well, yeah. So it's one of those things where, I don't ever want to tempt Senna. I don't want to put Senna in a position where Senna feels like he had to make a choice and Senna chose himself. That's kind of where I think of it from. That's the perspective where it's like, I don't want my boys there, because there's some boys I know Senna would never do this to me, and then there's other niggas I know that this one is a weak. He's weak. So if anything would have happened, because I think for most of the time as boys, right, there's very few, like, there's that really, really, like, random situation where your friend, your actual boy, connived to sniper your hand, right? We're talking, like, this is not high school shit. This is now serious relationships. That is
life.
Grown people. It's very rare. Yeah, so it's very rare to find that guy where it's like, this guy was literally savings that in your hand, bruh. Like, he was campaigning against you, right? But the much more popular situation is, hey, your boy happened to be there and he was weak, and then he hit. You know what I mean? Like, so where it's like, chief, like, hey, we were both drunk and you know what I mean? So those type of stories I've heard a lot more frequently, but not to Uti, the other one where your boy is actually plotting against you. So I don't want to put anyone in a situation where they feel like, hey, bruh,
they must
like
not
I
be
said,
careful.
you can mistake your way into some pussy.
Okay.
You shit happens. Bro.
So what?
Shit happens.
What's your closing sentiment on people who then? Because the popular rhetoric I've been seeing on Twitter from a lot of women in particular, and of course a lot of guys as well, if the situation is the other way around, is then labeling the other person as insecure, which I think oftentimes invalidates other people's feelings, because you're like, right, my guy, this person's clearly uncomfortable with this. To just brand them as insecure is, it's unfair. It's not dealing with the reason why, and it's not beyond the realm of possibility that this thing can happen. Like Tabo said, you can mistake your way into some pum pum, get holagala, right? So it's not as far fetched, and it's not something that the person probably has to then just deal with and be okay with. What's your message to those people that are labeling such requests as unreasonable? About don't text my man, don't contact my mans, don't follow my man's.
No, honestly, like I said, I don't see it as an insecurity at all. At all. I think you're more than valid to try and protect what's yours. However you see it fit to protect what's yours. It's fine. I respect that. For guys and for girls. So there's other guys who even go overboard. While she's at Mcimbi, or while she's out with the girls and shit like that. It's like, bruh, hey, let it be. But other people, that's how he protects. Every 2 hours or something like that. Hey babe, how you doing? I miss you. Which I think is personally, I think that's whack as fuck. Like, bruh, leave your woman. She's coming back to you. Like, bruh. Like, wow. Imagine being at FIFA and Johanna's calling you, bruh. Like, what? Like, I'd be pissed. So, again, there's lots of ways that people try to protect against these things. And yeah, I guess you can interpret it as an insecurity, but I don't see it as an insecurity. I just think,
it's being realistic.
Shit happens, bro. Let's not act like mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. And if it was you just closing that avenue, then Senna could have never had the opportunity to make that mistake if you close that avenue. I think that's how people see it. And I think that's just being proactive. Protect what's yours, because I'm not trying to find a new girlfriend. I'm not trying to find a new boyfriend. Like, bruh, I'm trying to protect this at all costs. Don't ruin this for me. Nothing worse than being evicted from a relationship that you were comfortable in. Nothing worse than that, bruh. When that other person fucks up, it's like, God damn it, now I gotta leave. Now I gotta be pissed and deal with this trauma. Yeah, it's like, that's some really selfish shit, to be honest, right? To rock someone's world like that.
Yeah.
So, personally, I support it 100%. Don't get familiar with people's partners, but catch yourself.
Nice. No siyabonga maps, guys. I'll look for the tweet and then I'll try and retweet it from the 6 Foot Weights account.
You've just reminded me about something. There was a period where me and my boys, we had this phase of like, you'd introduce your girl to the squad, like even if we were in different places, right? At this point, I think I was even like I'd moved to Ethiopia and stuff like that. So it was weird Facebook things where, your boy would be like, yeah, send my Hannah's a friend request, and like you actually build a relationship with your boy's Han. Weird phase, bro. I think about it now. I'm like, that was
is very strange.
And
that is very strange.
Yeah, and bruh, it was actually, so if we're all in the same place, if we all live in Cape Town, right? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. The relationship forms naturally because I literally see her every weekend with Sen, right? So that one makes sense. But like, this was one of those where I'm far away from everybody else. I'm Sasha and it's like, yo, bro, I'm dating Zwaniban. Okay, sharp. Send her a friend request, I'm like, okay, cool, your boys told me lots about you, no, chill. It was never anything hectic. But then, the problem is, my boy went and dated the wrong Han. So, with every other
what do you mean by the wrong
standard
Han?
shit, like, okay, they know I exist and whatever. He dated the wrong Han, bro. He dated the wrong Han. So what ended up happening is, Mukel would randomly hit me up on WhatsApp, right? And like, so I think I'd post about the NBA. I was definitely in the States by this point. I'd post random shit about the NBA. Or again, anyone who follows me on social media knows what I'm a fan of, right?
Yeah.
So you see, okay, this guy is a sports fan. So she engendered with that sports fan angle. And again, I should have known because one of my ex-girlfriends hoodwinked me because she started watching Premier League matches to discuss with me on school at night. So it felt like she was a Premier League fan. And then when we started dating for real, she stopped watching. I'm like, hey, did you watch the ball? It's like, nah, bro, I'm secured. I don't watch football anymore. So, credit to her. Now she hoodwinked me properly. So anyway, she jumps in. So my boy's girl now jumps in the angle of, hey, so you're a really, really big Lakers fan. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I love the Lakers. And again, that's how you get me. And I think me and you are similar in this sense. Like, we're very oblivious to like people who don't have the best intentions. Right? We take a lot of people at face value and are like, oh yeah, sure, like this is innocent, right? So she comes in with that angle, and I'm like, yeah, no, absolutely, big Lakers fan, Lake Shore, Kobe's still playing, all this shit is happening, right? And she's like, oh well, I've just started getting into basketball, and I really like the Celtics. So for anyone who doesn't know any NBA history, the Lakers and the Celtics are bitter rivals, bitter rivals. We have, I think, the same number of championships in the NBA.
Yeah.
In the history of the NBA, I think it's like 17 each, or maybe the Celtics have one more than us. I can't remember, but like it's one of those, right? It's the Lakers and the Celtics, and then everybody else has like 2, 3, 4, 1 titles. Like, you know, like it's a huge gap, right? It's the Liverpool Man U situation.
Yeah.
So she comes in there on that tip, and okay. So I think the conversation kind of ended on some, well, I'm new to this, so I'm gonna need you to kind of, you know, show me the ropes, something along those lines. And again, me thinking everything is above board, sure, you know, ask me any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any basketball related questions. And the other thing that I forgot, right, is I'm in the States.
Yeah.
And these games come on during the working week. These games come
3 a.m.
on around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. 9 p.m., 8 p.m. in the States is 3 a.m. in the Miss. So in my mind, I never factored that in. Why is said hun then texting me on this tip, right? In the middle of, like, bro, imagine if your girl was texting one of your boys. And texting on 3x, bro. Wouldn't you think that's like, what the fuck?
You're like, yeah.
So obviously they didn't live together or anything like that. But anyway, so me, I don't even factor that, all of that. This is only me now reflecting on, wow, that really was fucked up. So then she would randomly text me during these times, a couple times a week, like once or twice a week. You know, she'd claim she's watching the Celtics game or whatever. And if the Lakers were playing, I'm not watching the Celtics.
No, okay.
So again, I could never verify if this was legitimate or not. So yeah, she would text and shit like that. And then it came to now the summer months. Every summer I came home. I'd always want to come home. And so she knows, I guess I've posted, again, this is all in the Facebook era where everything about your life is on Facebook, right? My status update won't get, like, again, if you follow me, you'll see Uti, you know, go get Ukon. So she clocks Uti, the next one is going to be in Zim in the next couple of weeks. And then she's like, hey, do you still play ball physically? I'm like, yeah, I still play ball physically. Absolutely. And then she goes, oh, so I heard that there's a new court in Paranest. Maybe we should go and play one-on-one. And I was like,
why does a girl want to play me one-on-one, first of all?
So,
but you said yes.
Yeah, I was so.
Wait, so during
no,
this
I
whole
didn't
time,
say yes. So that was the first. That was the first time.
Okay.
Yeah?
I was about to say, like, did you flag to friend with chief your girl here?
So I was about to, but then the thing is, at the time, homeboy was a bit sensitive about his hand. Okay. Because Owens were talking about how this hand is moving shade. So there was certain. So I'm here because I'm so far away from everything. I'm not hearing these stories in real time.
Yeah, you're not hearing it live.
Dopa stories, you know. Yeah, so like I'm hearing this and I'm like, okay, do I now want to be? Because what was happening is the next stone is being told, you know, hey, your girl's moving funny, right? And he would sort of cut off the person telling him with his girl's moving funny, type of thing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying to get into this like this with the boy. So what I'm just going to do is remove myself from the situation. So the one-on-one date never happened. Okay. Like that was, so I stopped. So like even if she would text and stuff, I would just kind of mize. Yeah. And then that kind of died. Right. But again, to be fair, she only ever texted about basketball stuff. So I was like, maybe this is genuine. Right. But I looked at the whole situation. I'm like, chief, I don't know. Like if I'm hearing that you move funny, then it's not really. But again, at that point, it wasn't official. Yeah, no, this hand is moving funny. It was like a little bit of a rumayan, where it's like, it's not enough for me to turn my opinion on someone. But I just evaluated. I was like, you know what, this doesn't make any sense. Let me just leave it. Then later on, when the Ndaba came out properly, it then hit me with the bruh. Because the thing is, said Han was targeting my boys. She was targeting the homies. That's the fucked up part. She was targeting homies, niggas that my boy fucks with, me included, right? So when I'm now hearing this whole Ndaba, I'm like, oh shit. Like,
What
that's
do you mean
probably
by-
what the next Han was doing.
What do you
And I
mean
was
by
like, yo,
targeting
yo.
the homies? As in, what did she do with the other homies?
As in, she smashed them.
Them.
Yeah. Bruh, dude, it was big.
That
It was
woman
big.
wanted to kill mans. She wanted him dead.
Bruh, it was mad. So now me, when I'm not hearing the whole Ndaba later on, with the, bruh, this guy, the light bulb goes off in my head with the, never be being text episode. And me, I didn't even think, Uti, this is... women will kill you, bruh.
Die real death.
It was mad. A real death, bruh. Like, it was. So when my light bulb went off, I was like, damn. Hey, this is... So yeah, no. The squad has got roasties for days, bro. Like,
Yo. Hey, what a
and
difficult.
sometimes I was in music, would be like, I'd start a podcast with the guys. Let's talk about some of these things because, yeah. Bruh.
Shame, man.
No, but yeah. So the next guy's Han was moving mad, and I think they stayed together for another couple of months. So, yeah, it took a while for that thing to die. But I was like, you know what? Let me just remove myself from the situation.
So then she was encouraged.
Once the shit was now dead. I told Mans with bruh, your teams were just moving mad, chief. Your teams were moving mad.
Yo. Yeah, no. I understand why people then put up resistance.
Yeah, no, you must. Like I said, you mistake.
I'll send you the Chris Rock.
Obviously, she was much more notorious.
I'll send you the Chris Rock clip.
Yeah.
It's hilarious actually when he goes on about
Chuck
things.
it. But yeah, no, Mr. Moyo, don't give people access. Don't give your boys too much access. Ladies, don't give your girls too much access to your man.
I'm super chill. The way I
asking, it's a recipe.
The way I'd be so excited. Yo, meet my friend Tabo. And it's like,
when I paid him clean.
Oh, what a wow,
mad, bro! Like it's the thing, like, you, which is why I'm saying me and you have this same thing of being naive and like taking things at surface level. Like, I would never imagine that if I'd never gone through that experience. Even the fact that me and her would text for, I think it was a period of like, I don't know. It was a period of like a month or two that we would exchange texts and stuff like that in that phase. And in my mind, my mind never ever went there because it's like, this is my boy's, girl. Like literally, this is my boy's girl. Like nothing else. It was just like, there's no way. Like, so that part of my mind would never ever engage. Whereas if it's just a random, if I'm single and a single hand is hitting me up on some, hey, talk to me about basketball, my mind would definitely go to be like, I scheme here, she's just looking for an angle to talk to me. Yeah, boy. But like, that's because that's a single hand, right? But then if it's my boys, like, nah. I was like, literally, I took it as the most innocent thing ever. I believed 100%. I'm now gone there. Believed it 110%, especially because, again, we're talking sports. So for me, I'm already a sports fan. I love talking sports. I love it to death. So if anyone's willing, your mother could hit me up like, hey, Chief, how far with Chelsea? I'm like, let's talk. That's just the type of guy that I am. So I know she got me, bro. 10 year.
Although I always, so I'm different in the sense that I always feel like the partner must facilitate and control the friendship, because I know that there are people who are sensitive about these things, so I always keep like arm's length. So I'm always like, okay, the partner's the one who must then facilitate these things. So if you want me and your person to be like super close, then you will make it happen, right? If I want you and my person, then I'll make it happen, right? So I'm not gonna go out of my way.
But you must never want that, is my
no, of course. Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. But
Because then she realizes, no, this is the real McCoy. And then Manji says, she realizes, me, I'm with the ice boy. Manji says, ice boy is introduced to the leader of the group.
Oh, wait, that chat killed me, bruh. The whole what that girl said. She was like,
that chat was bad.
When you meet his friends and realize he's not the group leader, I'm like, that's just my Power Ranger.
Nah. Hans move mad, bro. Like that shit is I mean, but to be fair, to touch on that real quick before we go, yeah, I think there are defined roles in the squad. Like they it might not be, but there is a group leader, but it's not a leader in the sense that everyone goes, yes sir, right? But there is like, it depends on the type of squad that you have. There's the financial muscle in the squad. You have niggas like that, right? If you're not all on the same level, there's this financial muscle guy. There's the guy who makes plans. Hey, much this and that. There's that guy. Are we linking up? Is it for the club? Right? There's that guy. And then there's the one who the connect to all the hoes, right? There's that nigga too. So like everyone plays a role. I don't think it's like a leader or what TV, and again, people can trade hats, right? Depending on the situation, Senna can become the money guy, and then Senna becomes the make a plan guy, right?
Yeah.
I think we just don't talk about it as boys or what there's, but they are in some squads where you just know what this is Zwani's role. This is the guy who's the funny guy in the squad. This guy always has fucked up shit to say, There's those people, So I think, yeah, there kind of is a bit of roles and stuff like that, and there is the ice boy. Well, I've never been in a squad where there was an ice boy per se, but I've seen a squad where there was an ice boy, So
yeah, although what I hate about those things is then people then kind of box you into a particular personality which you might not be, right? Someone might be like, so because of the group leader, I expect you to do this, and that. I'm like, how, chief? We didn't have elections to elect me, all conquering and whatever, to decide.
No, so we did drama. So I'm like, chief, bro. Like, I don't care.
I literally asked someone, so when as the group leader, you're meant to do this. I'm like, wow, man. Hey. First of all,
who gives a fuck what Senna has to say?
Who gives a fuck what I have to say? Bro.
You be sure. And which is what I'm saying. Maybe we're in these roles in Tina, we don't know. But like, so I'm not telling this thing, Kanti. People expect certain things of us. No. You must do this.
I think
it's like, bro, you let down the team.
Dude, it's a high school mentality where people always in high school always felt like they had to box people into categories. So now they're grown adults and they see a group setting and they must immediately assign roles to people. I'm not saying Guti, there's no Grootman and Ice Boy type of thing. It exists, right? I'm sure it exists. But it's never in a demeaning sort of, right? It's just guys who are friends that divide tasks in a particular way to achieve a particular task and purpose. I don't think it's as politicized.
Yeah, I think if you're genuine friends, then that whole ice boy thing, I don't think it exists. If you're genuine friends, but if it's one of those kind of like by connect or someone knows this guy who's a baller who like literally makes millions of dollars, then obviously, at that point there's definitely an ice boy somewhere in there. I know my point. Senna makes millions of rands.
Yeah.
He lives in Twagen, Camps Bay. He said I must pull up. Then that probably means you're with the ice boy. Because, that drinks for Mahara. Chief. That is...
Although, I think I said this a couple of episodes ago. I fight the stigma where people want to categorize me as the baller, as someone who has money. So
then stop lying.
No, it's important. And if you want to categorize
the day I post your bank statement,
the good thing is categorize me as an ice boy. I won't even be offended, Mina, personally. In fact, I will acquire that and I will revel in it. Because the good thing is no one's going to ask you for anything. No one's going to come to you to fix something. Hey, so what must happen? They'll look elsewhere.
But anyway, Mr. Moy, I see you, Valley. Lapindaba. It's been a good one. We gave the people 2 hours, so they can't kalala. You know, they got what they needed. They got their weekly fix. But yeah, there's so much. Didn't even get into the Chelsea shit. I'm hoping Chelsea turn things around next week, so I have good things to say.
Dude, you know what? Funny, before we go, before the Liverpool game, right? I texted, I was talking to Panashe. I was actually in the gym, and then he's like, I posted that some meme about Uguti, it's another United match day, and he's like, Ish, Kuraf. And I think I was like, no, but my heart says we can win. The only reason I said that was literally because I don't think we could sink any lower than we. I was like, Brentford 4-0 in one half is as low as it can get. Brentford were promoted last year.
It can't get worse.
It really can't get worse than this. So there has to be, you know how they say a ball has to reach rock bottom to come back up? I felt like Brentford was that moment where it had to come up again. Because after you lose to Brentford 4-0, changes have to be made. You have to get rid of Abba Maguire. You have to bench Shaw. You have to change something. Even if you don't want to, and maybe the decision is unpopular, you can go into the Liverpool game and be brave and be like, right, I've benched all these niggas. Let's try to do things the proper way. So
yeah, no. It was good. It was a good response. I mean, again, a wounded lion is very, very dangerous. Although it was 2 wounded lions because Liverpool was also seeing stars. So I was very curious about how that would go. But I did have a sneaky suspicion that United were going to win that game, or at the very least get a draw. That was my kind of thing with you. I didn't see Liverpool doing what they did last year to you guys. I did not see that at all. I think the sale of Mane was very underrated. Yeah. It's gonna bite him in the ass.
It will, because he creates a lot. Like he not just assists and goals, but just scoring opportunities for everyone else. Like I think he was just always around. So we'll see. I'm not sure about Darwin Núñez. I'm yet to see. But
yeah, we'll he's got potential. He's got some flashes. I think he might be good. He might be good. But real quick, are you still top of Fantasy Premier League? I had a really good week. I'm back in the top 10 in the 6 foot weights Fantasy League.
Where I didn't have a bad week, but I didn't have a great week. No, I'm now second.
Some niggas caught up. So I dropped to 13th. I was 10th. You dropped. Yeah, you dropped. But you didn't have it. Yeah, you didn't. Just Nathan Dingulwazi Ndlovu is now number 1.
That's like
that's a David ass name, bro. Ropa jumped me, dog. Ropa jumped me. She's now on item number 7. She was seeing stars because she was below me as the weekend was progressing. So she's making some moves.
She's coming back.
Togo at 8th. I think who's this? Tomban. Zoro is at 9. Panache is 11. I'm at 13. Tsungi at 13. So no, me and Tsungi are tied. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Fez is down there, 18. Like it. Who else is? Where's our superstar? Where's Ayanda? She's 29th out of 35. Like it.
It's starting to normalize.
She looked like she was cackling, but she's above Fox, bro. Fox needs to also be serious. Vincent, this is unacceptable. But anyway, Mr. Moyo, it's been a good one. It's been a fantastic one. Guys, let us know. DM us if you need the code for the Fantasy League. If you forgot to join, we can always DM you that. Senna has the code. You can DM him that. If you're a woman, please don't DM Senna umfazake uzawuchaya. But anyway, guys, like the team, retweet the team, subscribe to the team. What else? We're inclined to believe you are a hater. Mr. Moya.
Laters.